This is an absolute steal for the Los Angeles Lakers. A massive new trade report has dropped surrounding one player in particular that has fans very intrigued and following what has been an up and down season for the Lakers thus far. We have a new trade report surrounding a big man that has fans fired up. We'll break that down as well as a few other updates, including a big one surrounding LeBron James. That is very encouraging. A ton to go over on this episode, folks. But before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Your guys' support's been great. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of trade talks happening across the NBA. The market's being a little bit more active than usual. It's being active earlier than usual. And a new report has dropped surrounding the Sacramento Kings that has opened up an opportunity here for the Lakers. And it's an interesting one. Let's dive right into it. So you can see here the Kings are reportedly gearing up for a full rebuild and plan to explore trades around Zach LaVine, Domontas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and others. We're going to be focusing in on Sabonis for this video. There will be other videos on some of the other guys because, quite frankly, the Lakers are one of the more active teams at this year's, will be one of the more active teams at this year's trade deadline, but also in the early going parts of the year. Of course, they're active in trade talks. But Domontas Sabonis. Now, once this initial report dropped from this reporter, of course, Lakers fans started saying, I don't know how they'd get it done, but try to find a way to get Domontas Sabonis to LA because you could argue the Lakers are missing one big man. Now, Ayton's been pretty good to start the year. Is he good enough to win a championship with? That's still yet to be seen, right? However, this has spurred a ton of conversation. And a brand new report dropped just 30 minutes ago revealing that NBA teams are expressing interest in acquiring Sabonis. As it relates to Sabonis, my understanding is that there are at least a few teams that have raised their hand and say, yeah, he's somebody we'd want to talk about. And you'd assume the Lakers are one of those teams because of their past aggressiveness in trades. And of course, with Rob Pelinka, he's been holding on to all of his assets, his first round picks, his first round pick swaps. And of course, outside of the Luka trade and holding on to Dalton Knecht, who doesn't have a ton of value necessarily at this point. But this has opened the door for the Lakers. Now, if you can somehow pull this off, it is an absolute, steal no matter what way you look at it. You can see this tweet here. Sabonis and the Warriors would be insane, but the Lakers should try. I don't know how he would fit with Luka, but they should try to get him. I think he would fit absolutely fantastic with Luka Doncic. But it goes to show that even fans of other teams are saying that Domantas Sabonis makes sense for the Lakers here, simply because the one hole the Lakers have right now, you could argue there's a couple holes, whether that be one more point of attack defender. But getting Domantas Sabonis, a surefire big man, and that would move DeAndre Ayton to the bench in this hypothetical. Sabonis is a great passer, one of the best passing big men in the NBA, one of the better rebounders in the NBA, can stretch and shoot the three ball a little bit. He would be a perfect fit for Luka Doncic, and Luka Doncic would be a perfect fit for him. And you can see this here. Lakers trade for Sabonis. We need him on the Lakers. Luka, Reaves, Smart, LeBron, and Sabonis. That would be an insane lineup. And Smart's been playing really good this year. He's obviously had multiple games with a ton of steals, playing tenacious defense. And if you add in, if you add Sabonis to this team, this is a championship roster, instantly. And Sabonis isn't having his best year. So you could argue that because this report came out and that there's some level of desperation out of the Kings side, leverage is being lost. He's having the worst season in a while, even though it's still a very good year. You could argue that there might be some an opportunity here to grab him for cheap. Of course, there'll be a lot of teams bidding for him. But Yahoo Sports dropped a new report saying that the Lakers are among 3 teams that they view as the best fit. You can see here it says the Lakers traded for former number 1 overall pick Ayton in the offseason. That article is wrong. They didn't trade for him. He was like, they signed him, right? Because he was waived and then they ultimately signed him. But regardless, we'll omit that typo from them in a minute here. However, there are questions about the big man's toughness and awareness. Sabonis could fill those gaps to provide a different look with his floor spacing and passing. Los Angeles has been without LeBron James for the opening stretch of the season and could choose the rest. Obviously keep him fresh for the playoffs. LeBron's going to be back fairly soon, but at the same time, we know he's progressing with the G League and all these different things. I'm taking it more, and I disagree with this article there. I don't think Sabonis coming back would make it less likely that LeBron, plays and that he's going to get more rest. Having both of those guys in the starting lineup would be exactly what you're looking for out of a big man. And you can see here, after a 3-8 start, that's when the rumors started to fly. And the recent report is linked to 3-time All-Star teams that are close to California. So Sacktown Sports 1140, so a Kings reporter and radio show said there are 3 teams in California that would be interested: the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Warriors. And you can see there again, when you're trying to trade for Sabonis, there's a team out there, and I heard about a team not too far down the road that could be interested. And again, whether that's the Lakers, whether that's the Clippers, whether that's the Warriors, pretty big report, right? And again, it all goes to show that it is a robbery if they can pull them off, and it's getting a little bit real. We'll have a full video covering that specific report later, but as you look at what it could mean for a trade. Now, the Kings would probably want, at least initially, to ask for Austin Reaves in a package for this. I don't think the Lakers would even consider that. Reaves has looked good. Of course, since coming back from the injury, he's looked a little bit, more inefficient, though he's still having a fantastic year. Also, you look at some of the draft capital, they do have some swaps, they do have some picks that they can give up, but it would probably be, centered around, obviously you have to make the salary work, and Reaves is averaging almost 30 a game. Like, you're not going to trade Reaves here. Whether that be a guy like Rui Hachimura, not Austin Reaves, but Dalton Knecht, and then some picks. Like, it would be pick slash swap focused. You still have the 2031 first you've been holding on to it for a while. You have a bunch of swaps. Another pick opens up this offseason, I believe it is. You could trade Rui Hachimura and then make that work. And then if you're the Kings, you're getting some draft capital. You could argue that Rui, if they're still trying to compete, even though it says they're going for a full rebuild, maybe you flip Rui to another team for a second or maybe a late first, depending on how things go, though I don't think he's worth a late first at this point. This is the tough part, right? The Lakers don't have a crazy amount of assets, and if there's other teams that do, you'll probably be outbid for him. But at the same time, if Sabonis is going to try to control this, and the rumors are true about him wanting to play in California, maybe you can make the assumption that would work there. Although I'm sure the Warriors would be very interested, and they have a little bit more assets to give up. But they're not super flush with assets either. They have Jonathan Kuminga. They can maybe be a headliner. But at the end of the day, it would be some sort of deal. Rui, Gabe Vincent, Vanderbilt, make the salary work, add a bunch of picks, and see what happens there. Even the Lakers don't have a crazy amount of picks. Who knows? Maybe they throw some of their younger guys in there as well. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. Again, is it likely? Probably not at this point, but if they get him, it would be a steal because, again, you would have to give up. You wouldn't have to give up a crazy amount of assets if the Lakers were to pull it off. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Let's go to stats really quick. This year, averaging 15 and 12. Of course, his last few years have been really, really good. I mean, 19 points a game, 14 rebounds. He obviously averages 6 assists, 8 assists a couple years ago. This year, only 3.7, but he's not playing in a winning culture. He's not playing in a winning environment. He's not really playing with winning players. You put him in the Lakers, all those stats will bump right up. He's only 29 years of age, 29 years old. He's going to be entering his prime here now. He's in his prime, and that would be exciting. Now, a few other things. Obviously, the Pelicans are playing the Lakers this evening, and the good news is, despite the Lakers' a little bit of struggles as of late, the Pelicans are without Zion, without Jordan Poole, no excuses. So this is going to be you see a picture of Redick from the bubble there when he did play for, of course, way back in the day when he was playing in the NBA. But no Zion, no Poole. The Lakers should be good. You have to take care of business tonight. Obviously, there is going to be some. The Pelicans still have a few hungry young players, but at the same time, if you lose this one, this is almost a trap game, if you want to call it that, to a degree. They're missing a lot. I mean, missing Zion and missing Poole is very, very good for the Lakers. There's no way to no way to go about it. Vincent's going to be out for the Lakers. LeBron's remaining out. And then, of course, Luka Doncic should be good to go, averaging 30 a game, 35 a game. But another piece of good news, yesterday, LeBron practiced, no pain or setbacks. He's going to be returning in the coming days. Things are looking up. If you can take care of business against the Pelicans tonight, get the vibes rolling back high, make a big trade, keep things going, and then instantly you're already in a position to be a championship contender, but that could push them over the top with one more acquisition.